Hey there, where there's a will, there's a way. How do you know you're making progress? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 2114 of What's She Up To Now, documenting my journey and sharing my experiences originally as I transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of business, physical businesses, not just online, to the online world. At that time, I'd been in the offline world 4 decades plus over a quarter century, that simultaneously working in different capacities in corporate America. So I was working back in the days when there weren't very many women in corporate America, especially in manufacturing and engineering, where I chose to spend my time in my career. Then I moved into the quality function, the quality area, which to me meant I could stick my nose in everybody's business, deal with processes and systems and improvement and automations. And that's sort of been my love throughout the decades. And today, after, I came online in 2017. Through the ClickFunnels organization, not working for them, but as a certified partner for their first version of their software. It might have been their second version, but anyway, they've done a lot of iterations, and now ClickFunnels 2.0 is out. That's a topic for another day. That's just part of my online life. So today, we covered a couple of things, and I create 2 pieces of content, 3 including this, every day, every single day. And people are like, why do you do it every day? And I'm like, because it keeps me moving forward. It really, really helped serve me well during the pandemic, right? 2020 was a crazy year for everybody. And there was a big disparity between what happened to people and how they handled the pandemics. A lot of people just sat and waited to see what was going to happen. And although that feels like we're doing something, we're really not doing anything, and we just stay stuck in the place that we are a lot of times when we don't take action or move forward. So that's when I started doing the Get Up and Go challenge, and I did a 30+ day challenge every other month to keep myself moving, as well as helping other people to have something to do and something to look forward to and something to actually keep them moving forward and continually improving and growing during a time period where it actually was a gift to a lot of us. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've always had like 100 books around my house or 100 things around my house that I wanted to do. And I got to actually have the time and energy to do those things. People that weren't working for the first time ever, although it really stunk from a financial standpoint, either figured out something else that they could do to continue moving forward and create an income for themselves, or they did a lot of those projects. They read those books. They did those things. They created those experiences for themselves and their loved ones that they were usually quarantined with, that made a positive impact and difference on their life. And it was a crazy time, depending on where you are in your life cycle's developmental stage. If you're home with young kids, it was a big challenge for people. If you were, one of you had to go to work and the other one didn't, depending on the industry that you were in and whether it was designated a necessary industry or not, or job, it would determine whether you went to work during that time period or not. So lots of craziness, but most of us came through it unscathed, and a lot of the people I interact with came out of the pandemic actually way better off than they were when they went into the pandemic, because those are the people I hang around with. Anyway, our idiom for today was, where there's a will, there's a way. I love this idiom. I don't think I say it very often, not as the where there's a will, there's a way format, but I do say you can do this and a lot of things like that, where I'm encouraging people to, number one, focus on solutions, not problems. Figure it out. Know and believe and trust that no matter what comes your way, you're going to figure it out, because you are, right? It's the alternative. Just give up and quit and put your tail between your legs and go home, take your ball and go home. I don't know. I don't think that that's an option, right? I think that if we want to have a life that we're proud of, we keep moving forward. We decide what we want, we choose, we commit to it, and then we figure it out along the way. Okay, I want to be this, or I want to do this. I mean, how many of us wanted to be something when we went to college, or when we were little kids, and either we chose something else, or we gave up on that idea, or we figured out how to make it happen in our lives. I always wanted to own my own businesses, or business. I didn't want to own businesses when I first started out. I always wanted to have my own business. And so everything I did, every choice I made along the way, although some of them didn't help me go toward that, some of them actually sent me backwards, that's how we learn, that's how we grow, and that's how we show the universe that we're serious about the things that we think about, the things that we say that we want. That's how we prove that we actually want and are the person that is able to handle those things, right? So that's my take on all that today. Day 314 today in the annual challenge, to get your goals annual challenge. And we're working through the SOAP process every month. I make sure we go through the SOAP process at least once. Why? Because it's like one of my favorite tools. And once I installed it, and I did this in 2020 into my subconscious, and I used it as a framework for everything that came my way, every setback, every challenge, every obstacle that was thrown at me, like everyone else during 2020, was handled by my subconscious first. And then if it was something big enough that I actually had to think about figuring it out, this is how I did it. I said, okay, what's going on? What's my current story? What's my current situation? What options do I have based on that? Because once I identify where I am and where I want to be, all of a sudden there's this friction to get me from where I am to where I want to be. And then I have to think about, well, how am I going to get there? So then we look at options. We brainstorm in some way, shape, or form, and remember that there's always a lot of different ways to get what we want. There isn't ever just one way. Yep, lots of people online will tell you they're one way to be a billionaire or gazillionaire. But the truth is, there are infinite ways to become whatever it is that you want. And if that's a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire, a gazillionaire, you can follow someone else's model, or chances are, even if you follow someone else's model, you're going to have to figure it out in certain aspects for yourself, because you are going to face different challenges, different obstacles, different setbacks, different mindset and habits and things than the person that you're modeling or following. And if you think that isn't true, you're in for a rude awakening, right? Each mentor that I've had can only get me so far. And then I usually have to find another mentor or another coach or another mastermind or another group, because the group, we actually grow and develop and expand and become more than the certain groups that we originally attracted, right? And that's not a bad thing. It's like whenever anyone leaves my organization for a better opportunity, I freaking love that and celebrate that, because I know that the organization that they're in with me and what we're doing, they've reached their limit and they need to go on and grow and become more. So, then we take action. Yesterday we took action. And then today we ask ourselves, how do I know? How do I know if I'm making progress and going from where I am to where I want to be? Because guess what? Sometimes we do something and we don't know. Usually if you try something one time or do it once, we don't know yet. So we just say, okay, well, I don't know if that worked for me yet or not. I'm going to do it again tomorrow, or I'm going to tweak it a little bit and try to get a better impact or a better result tomorrow. And sometimes we do something and it takes us absolutely backwards, which is an indicator that it's not the right next step for us, right? That's what it tells me. If I do something and it sends me a couple steps back, either subjectively or objectively, in what I'm measuring or how I'm feeling about something, then I know it's not the right thing for me to do right now. Doesn't mean it isn't the right thing 3 steps down the road, but right now it's not the right thing. I've figured that out with different coaches and coaching programs I've linked up with, or different tools that I've learned and tried to apply in my businesses and in my life. Sometimes it's the right time for me. Sometimes it's not. I'll buy a book because my instinct says, buy this book. It sounds good. And then I'll put it on a shelf for 10 years because it's not for me when I get it. I just was attracted to it for a reason, but I don't necessarily know why. And then 10 years from now, or 10 years, because I've done this with books recently, especially during the pandemic, I'll be like, okay, this is the time that I am supposed to consume this information or read this or find this message in here, the one message that's for me to know now. If that makes sense. That's all I've got today. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, have an absolutely fabulous day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.